All right, guys, Marco Rubio's response, our Secretary of State. Remember, this is Henry Kissinger's position, that light-skinned black man. He was also Secretary of State, I think. I forgot his name. Maybe Bush, Obama, can't remember. Anyway, not at war with Iran. I saw one on CBS, and then he was also on Fox. Two different kind of reactions you get from him. Not at war with Iran. He says the people who've been publicly condemning America are secretly thanking the USA for creating a safer world. So we're not declaring war on Iran, but they can never have a nuclear weapon. They cannot have nuclear weapon. They can have nuclear energy, and we'll get to that right now. Iran can have nuclear power, but not have enriched uranium. They can import enriched uranium, and so these are. I'm referencing what our Secretary of State Marco Rubio is saying. We have a lot of bases in and around Iran, and the reason why is we're trying to protect these places like Qatar. Should I do it now? Maybe I should just talk about our bases over there. We're protecting the people from them. He's questioning the lady from CBS. Obviously, I don't know if CBS tries to not play both sides. They try to question. They're trying. I don't know. CBS to me, they're not like a CNN, right? You know, CNN's a lefty. They're fucking all their women on there are not even really women. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't say they're not women. Not the conservative, beautiful women who honor and respect men and love them. They're more like feminists, but even short-haired, LGBTQ, you know? And I don't know. These people. I guess if you stick with the idea that you're born this way, then you don't worry about your daughter. These sort of things are not going to influence your daughter. Or if you're born, if that's the way you're born, then if you have let's say your child is around a bunch of gay men, your little boy's not going to adapt to the gay if he's not born with some like predisposed genetic idea to be gay. So, which I don't really believe. Anyway, our Secretary of State is saying the reason why we have all these bases around Iran is to protect the people around there. I mean, Iran is the one who are funding their proxy armies like the Houthis, Hezbollahs, the Hamases. And so he's giving a reason, a cause for us to have all these air bases and our ships in and around the region of Iran. Also gave some insight to these other countries in Europe. The Germans, the French, and the UK are actually publicly announcing, they all agree that they don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. Some stuff that Marco Rubio also said, no country can do what we can do, saying militarily. And that they have everything they had everything they need to create missiles, nuclear weapons. They have the everything to create these ICBM missiles like North Korea can, and these are missiles that can go far. That they from Iran, they have missiles that can travel all the way to Europe, which is pretty incredible. So they're a threat to Europe, right? They're I don't know if you guys know this, but there is terrorist attacks in Europe that occur. And the last question that the lady from Fox asked Marco Rubio about China, that there is some evidence that there was some traffic from China's some, like, I guess you would say airplanes, some airplanes that were owned by the Chinese in Iran. Marco Rubio said there's no evidence that the Chinese military are in Iran. There's only evidence that they're getting their nationals. The Chinese are getting their own Chinese nationals out of Iran. And that says a lot. That says China's saying, do what the fuck you gotta do. You know, we're not getting involved with this shit. I hope Marco Rubio's correct. But again, these people know what we don't know. Like Marco Rubio's in this position. He's been studying this for years. As we've been focusing on other shit, we're civilians. Marco Rubio's been studying this shit for years. The lady from CBS was saying, well, was there evidence that the Iranian, Ayatollah were a threat, wanted these weapons to threaten us? He said that's irrelevant. From all the evidence, from all these years of, he says that they were playing the Americans, especially the Obama administration, from the JCPOA deal, which I'm going to make a separate video about that, just give a little bit of insight about that. I'm actually going to read about that as well. It's the deal that Obama, obviously America was the head of it, with some other countries involved. It was called the 5+1 deal. 5 major countries, major powers plus one, Iran. A deal with Iran about their nuclear program. And again, there's a lot of controversy. The Trump administration, a lot of, I guess, the conservative side, the Republicans didn't think that was in America's interest. That JCPOA deal wasn't good. When Trump mentions Obama was an idiot by Iran was poor, their economy was trash, and then all of a sudden we're funding Iran. We make a deal with them. Oh, we'll give you money. It's like kind of like a scare tactic. We'll just give you money to not make nuclear weapons. Trump is saying, "No, fuck that. You're not having them. We're not doing shit for you." And so there's other things here. There was some other references to these attacks on different countries. I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down, right? There was attacks in other places. There was this, I wrote it down, where the Iranians, they did some IEDs in Iraq to kill our people, whether they were responsible or through proxies, and they also attacked, where they killed almost like 200 people in some other part of the world, considered to be a terrorist attack, obviously. I know I wrote that down, but I can't find it. I have to write that down somewhere. Anyway, how you would want your Secretary of State to speak on behalf of the president and to always support him no matter what, especially in front of the people. Okay, so going back to the CBS lady, she's questioning Marco Rubio. Marco says that's irrelevant. He was saying, how do you, because she was questioning about Intel. He's like, how do you know about Intel? You think we're going to tell you all the secrets? You think you know everything, every little detail, every little, things of espionage and things of intelligence that we share with other people that we've learned. We have people whose jobs it is, who get a kick out of being spies and being double agents. And like, this is such a different thing that most civilians don't know about, and they just put an opinion in. It's fascinating to me. Obviously, it's actually very fascinating, this world of politics and diplomacy and how things function, And it goes to another video I wanted to make as well about is Trump really doing it for the West? Does he really care about the West? And I'm gonna get to that. And not only that, why he is making the decisions he's making. I'm gonna make another video. But Marco Rubio said, Iran, because again, when he says this, he's not just speaking out of his ass. He says the last 45 years, Iran has been playing dumb, has been playing our American presidents for stupid, the American government for stupid, been playing games. And Trump was telling them you got 60 days to come to the table. President Trump wrote them an official letter from the president to the Iranian Ayatollah, the regime in power, and they weren't responding. They didn't respond to Trump. They felt like they weren't doing negotiations. They weren't talking. And so Marco Rubio says, and this is the way you would want your representatives to speak, especially if you just want to live, you want to have peace in your nation, that they know that this president doesn't mess around. Donald Trump says, and he's going to do what he says. And so, yeah, And again, when he talks about, he gives years to things, this is someone who's done the research for 15 years, has intelligence, works for the government, is in his position for a reason, from references. He's not just there, you know. And again, this is a president who was president once, went through all that bullshit, not just for 4 years, for 8 years, survived it. And then now you do one thing, you get better at it. And I guess this is a guy who has done. These guys was in debt. He went bankrupt. He almost lost everything. I mean, he has a book called The Comeback, Donald Trump, The Comeback. And so, again, we not only got fooled. Even if for you guys who probably hate Donald Trump, go back to The Apprentice. Yeah, we thought this was like a jokester, fake hair, blondie, rich guy. The Apprentice, you're fired, you're fired. Go back and watch it, and you actually can get an idea of who he is now that you know more about him. And it's like, oh shit, this really was like a TV show he took seriously, and it had amazing ratings. And anyway, that's beyond the point, but definitely not afraid to have peace through strength. And again, we didn't attack the Iranian people. We attacked the regime. And again, I understand from reasoning and empirical evidence that, and me having my beliefs and understanding, like, how can I say that? I might say it and slip up, but how can I, then I check my, how can I say that if I don't know, I don't understand it? But to understand that you don't understand what they think because they live a different life. And so to the regime, to the Ayatollah, to the Mujahideen, to the jihadists, to the Allah Akbar people who are willing to risk their life. And that's why they're dangerous to the West, because we know they're legitimate. We know they're legitimate in their beliefs. And so they're to be taken serious, right? So it's no disrespect to y'all. I'm from the West, I'm from America, right? I would love to go and travel and see different cultures and understand them safely, right? I would love to live in a safe world, but that's not the way things work. Like, if there was a Jesus character, they try to kill Jesus. Even some holy roller guy would have to have an army around him, unfortunately. And so anyway, I'm gonna do a video on the JCPOA deal. Also want to do the Strait of Hormuz, a little short video of what that means, because there's a lot of questioning, you know, like, is Iran going to try to retaliate by closing off the Strait of Hormuz, which is very important for trade, oil trade. And Marco Rubio says it'll affect us, but it's going to affect China a lot more, maybe even places like Russia. So they don't really think that the Strait of Hormuz, Iran will be silly to shut that off from the world. And because then it's going to create a lot of other enemies, and a lot of people who will probably side, maybe in secret, with the Americans' decision to put their foot down, metaphorically speaking, on Iran. And again, so maybe I should read this, right? So what air bases of America, I'm gonna do another video.